The Rip City Drive.
We go to the phones right now. Our next guest is one of just a few players last season to average at least 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. He is part of the Portland Pilots. It is our pleasure to welcome Tyler Robertson to the Rip City Drive. Tyler, good afternoon. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, no, it's great to talk with you, and it was great to see you in the Phil Knight Invitational. We'll get to that in just a moment, but for those who don't know, you're from Melbourne, Australia, and Dwight and I were talking about this before the show. How big of an adjustment was that for you to move out to the Northwest to play basketball so far away from home and so far away from family in a totally different climate?
It was definitely a big change. Obviously, I started my college career in Cheney, Washington, so the snow was a little bit to adjust to. But then moving up here to Portland, the weather and stuff is kind of similar to back home in Melbourne, especially the winter where it's just raining a lot. So I was able to adjust pretty quickly, but no, it was a big change coming from Australia to America, but I've loved every part of it.
Okay, I have to ask you about your background now. Did you play for the national team? Is that right, for Australia's national team?
Not the actual Boomers team, but I played in my age group. I played in the U17, U18, U19 Australian team. We played in the World Cup in Greece before I came to college.
So you must have played. Did you play against the U.S. in that tournament?
No, we didn't get to play against them, but that team had Chet Holmgren, Cade Cunningham, guys like that on that team. So.
Yeah. Well, again, I think your background is interesting because Coach Legs has been recruiting you for a long time, I understand. Did you start to get to know him at a pretty young age?
Yes, I was first introduced to Coach Legs when I was 15, just through a family friend of mine that he was really close with in Australia. So we built that connection. And yeah, I've known him ever since, being really close to his family, his wife, his kids, seeing them grow up. So it's just been, kind of a surreal experience being with him.
So I would imagine his role in your life, especially if you make that commitment to go out to Eastern Washington and then you come down to Portland with Coach Legs, like that relationship's probably been very helpful for you, not just basketball-wise, but also making the adjustment being away from home. No,
without a doubt. And obviously he's been through kind of the college system. He didn't have to move away from home, but he's been through college. He did a little bit of pro stuff with workouts and stuff like that. Obviously, he's a big time coach now, and so just having him in my life and being able to adjust to everything that comes with college over in America has been instrumental to kind of me being the way that I am and my success over here.
Tyler, there are more and more good players coming out of Australia, and I'm wondering what your system is there. Did you play for a school, a club? What was your pathway to being in college here?
So we kind of have a lot of teams. I played on a domestic team which only plays Saturdays. I also played on what we call rep, which is every Friday night. You pretty much try out in November of one year, and then once you're picked into a team, you play all the way through till about August the next year. And so that was big. And then once I hit about 16 years old, I started playing semi-professional with older guys. And then, from then on, I had high school basketball, I had domestic, I had rep, and then national team and state team commitments too. So I was very full on when it came to playing basketball.
Well, that's pretty good competition that you had a chance to face at a young age. How much do you think that helped prepare you for what you're facing now in college basketball?
Oh, without a doubt. I think that's one of the biggest advantages for guys coming out of Australia is the fact that, we can play in that semi-professional league and compete against guys that have been through 4 years of college, have played all over the world, and just being able to play against those sort of more mature bodies before coming to college was definitely helpful in adjusting to the quickness and physicality of it.
I would think some of those guys that play for the Boomers would take a real interest in the younger players. Those players from Australia really seem to stick together. We had Patty Mills here, as you know, with the Blazers for a while, and his love for other players from there and helping younger players. Any of those guys work with you? Do you know them at all? Did you get a chance to work out with them?
Well, I was actually going to hit up Joe Ingles when he was traded for Portland, but obviously he had the ACL stuff and then moved to Milwaukee pretty quickly. So
yeah, that
was unfortunate. But I grew up around Josh Giddey a little bit.
Good player.
And I speak to him every now and then, but that's probably the main one that I've had connection with. But I've been around a lot of successful coaches. My teammate Jack Perry, his dad played in the National League for a long time back home in Australia. He was a big part in everything I do. Chris Anstey, that played in the NBA, did stints with the Bulls and the Mavericks. So yeah, I've been fortunate enough to have some very good coaching in my time playing basketball too.
Hey Tyler, I'm wondering what Coach Lagan's selling point was to you. What did he say? What was the situation to where you committed that time to follow him over to the States to play college basketball? Was it because you felt loyalty there because he noticed you first? Like, how did that develop to where you said, you know what, I want to come play for you?
I guess you just once you get to know each coach, and obviously coaches tell you what you want to hear to get you out to America, and then it's kind of things start from there. And so I just felt like I had a lot of trust in what he was saying. He came and did a home visit with me in front of my family, made a really good pitch to me. And obviously he was my first offer and my only Division I offer at the time, but I committed at the start of my senior year for school, and I didn't feel the need to really entertain anyone else because I had a lot of belief in Coach Legs, just like he had a lot of belief in me from a young age. And so once he got the job at Portland, it was a no-brainer for me that I was gonna follow him up here.
Well, it looks like a good move because you guys have, no question, you have a good team. I mean, you acquitted yourselves really well in the Phil Knight tournament, and all your starters back from last year. What do you expect from this team moving forward this season?
I think that the Phil Knight Invitational was just a great opportunity for us to kind of play, obviously, on ESPN national TV, get a lot of people seeing the way that we play, and I think it was really big for us in our confidence, knowing that we can compete with those top tier teams in the country. And so we're just really excited to finish off this preseason and then obviously head into conference. But the ultimate goal is making it to March Madness. We had a little taste of it at Eastern Washington, and it was just so much fun, and it's something that not many guys in our team have had the experience to go and play in that. So everyone's just building towards that goal of playing in the big time stuff in March.
In those 3 games you played North Carolina, Villanova, and Michigan State back to back to back. How nice was it to kind of measure yourself as an individual against some of the best players in the country?
It was awesome. I kind of touched on it with Legs before we started the tournament, how excited I was to play, especially against North Carolina, just because I've grown up watching ESPN, and we have ESPN and ESPN2 in Australia, and a lot of those teams that we played against this weekend are the teams that I grew up watching. And so just being able to have the opportunity to play against the storied programs like North Carolina, Villanova, and Michigan State was just something super special. And obviously to go up against great coaches too was just an experience I'll never forget.
All right, speaking of the coaches, Tyler, Tom Izzo, the coach of Michigan State, been there a long time, highly respected. Man, he had some good things to say about your team and your coach. And I want to get your opinion. Now, I know your coach is probably not listening at this time, but Izzo said he's a tough SOB, which I like. Is he tough?
No, I love playing for him. Obviously, he's a very passionate guy on the sideline. You see him, jumping up and down, wearing his heart on his sleeve. And I think that's why so many of us love playing for him, is that he's a coach that is going to have you back 100% of the time. And so us players play with a lot of passion, just like he coaches with passion. So it just makes it really fun to be out there competing with teammates, but also competing for our coaching staff too.
How are you enjoying your time at UAP there on the Bluff? It's a beautiful campus and a great institution. How are you enjoying your time at school there?
It's been really good. Obviously, it's a very good education to walk away with once I'm done with college, and just being in a bigger city, a city that kind of reminds me of back home in Melbourne, having an NBA team around, having different stuff to go do. It's been an awesome experience, and I don't want it to end, but I know it's coming to its end soon. But no, I'm forever grateful for being able to have the opportunity to play and study at University of Portland.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. Now you said coming to an end. They list you, I think, as a junior. Is this going to be it for you? Do you think you're done after this season?
Well, I still got the extra year of eligibility, so that's all kind of up in the air for me. I'll sit down towards the end of the season, and once season's done, kind of sit down, talk with my parents, talk with the coaches, talk with a few independent people, and figure out what I'm going to do. But I'm not writing off coming back next year at all. I think that, if we get a taste of that March Madness, why wouldn't I want to do it again the next year?
Sure.
And come away with a master's degree too. So I'm definitely not writing off coming back next year, but I'm just really focused on, making March Madness this year.
Have you been able to get any insight on what your prospects are for the NBA yet?
Yes and no. Like our coaching staff is, got connections through, obviously the Blazers being right here in town. They've had different guys and different coaches and scouts come through. And I think that there may be an opportunity there, but it's obviously, up to me and how I'm going to play and continue to work out and continue to get better with obviously the game of basketball. But just trying to watch a lot of film and try and learn from those guys that are at that level now. So hopefully one day I could maybe have the opportunity to play there.
You enjoy watching Dame?
Oh, I definitely do. The one Portland game I have been to this season, he unfortunately didn't play, but even watching Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant. I went to the game where they played Memphis at home, and they came back from, I think, 17 down in the last quarter, and so it was such a fun environment to be in. And then, getting to play on Moda this week was just such a cool experience after seeing those NBA guys play there. And then, I got to kind of live out a dream of playing on the NBA court at the same time.
All right, well, we're going to interview Coach Legs tomorrow morning. You got any insight before we get ready for that interview? Anything we need to know?
No, just, you can give him a bit of stick and tell him that it's from me. So
okay.
He's an awesome coach. I love playing for him. So, no, he's awesome.
That's great. All right, the Portland Pilots getting ready for a 4-game homestand. It starts tomorrow against Multnomah. They're at Chiles Center. It's Tyler Robertson here on the River City Drive. Tyler, we really enjoyed the conversation, and we wish you the best this year. And we'll be pulling for you to pull off your goal of reaching the tourney. That'd be awesome.
Thank you very much. It was awesome. It was awesome to, be on the show and go Pilots.